Thanks to the support as a channel member, Andrew McRobbie. If anyone wants to buy a League 2 quality player on about 70 grand a week just to get them gone so I can actually do some transfers, let me know down in the comments section. I have hundreds of them for sale, which means my rebuild has not necessarily started in the most rebuildy way possible. As you can see, I've been trying. There's been a lot going on, but ultimately we've not been able to do a huge amount. You can see we've not actually sold anybody. The one outgoing player was actually sold before I arrived. We have been able to loan out some of the fringes. A lot of these players are out of contract at the end of the season, so it was basically a case of getting some of their salary paid for the remainder of their contract. So, for example, Jordan McLeish, who is rubbish like the rest of them, he's actually only on 23 grand a week. Wigan have agreed to pay him 4.5 grand a week to play in League One, which means we've got another year of paying him 18.5 grand, and it's just a repeating thing all the way through. We did manage to get a few loan fees as well, but nothing particularly significant, which meant we couldn't really do any incoming transfers either. The one money spend was on Basinger, who had already arrived before I came here. So the only thing I've done is loaned in some midfield players because we were desperately short of midfield players. So we've got Sihan Kaliskan on loan from Manchester City until the end of the season. He's 21 years old, 30 caps already for Turkey at 21 years old, but he is a big, strong 6'2" physical presence for defensive midfield, natural ball winning midfielder, exactly the kind of player that we needed to offer a little bit of meat to the midfield. It's not ideal for our long-term plan because we had to spend all of our transfer budget on loan fees, but it's all we could really do. We brought in Lucas Brizuela as well. He was a 27-year-old Argentinian defensive midfielder, and we've actually got him joining us permanently next summer in what might be the worst piece of business I've done in the save so far, but had to get myself an Argentinian. I've made a mistake there, I think. We've also got Sebastian Bazia, who's a 27-year-old Slovak winger, 47 international caps at 27 years old. He's a left winger. He's a very good one. He's on loan from Bayer Leverkusen, and I think he's going to be super duper. And then we also brought in Michel Rossi, who's a 27-year-old Italian midfielder, can play central midfield or a little bit deeper. 3.5 stars of current ability. He's on loan from West Ham until the end of the season. They spent £35 million on him, played him for a year, and then loaned him to us with no loan fee, which it's an interesting decision that they've made there. The season itself has not started particularly greatly. I mean, we have had that tough start where you saw us lose to Liverpool. We also lost to Manchester United. Southampton are one of the best teams in the Premier League as well. Runners-up in 1984. Have I dreamt that Southampton are good? I'm sure Southampton... Yeah, Southampton are like a big six team in this universe. Newcastle are a big team as well. We've faced a lot of tough opposition early on. We have picked up one win, which was against Brentford, and knocked Villa out of the EFL Cup, which means 4 games into the season. We're in 13th place, nicely mid-table. It's exactly where we're supposed to be. And really, the plan for this season is to just tread water in mid-table, not flirt with relegation, not even flirt with Europe, and wait for all of these contracts to run down. There's so many of them. We just need those contracts to run down and get that half of the squad gone so that we can do a proper rebuild next summer, as long as we don't go out of business first. It'll be fine. It'll be absolutely fine. This is the team. I think this is the system that we've settled on for now, playing a 4-3-3. We're away against Tottenham as well, who's the club we could have been managing, who got promoted out of the Championship last year. And we are trying some things against Tottenham. So we're giving Steven Sidibe a run out in goal because our goalkeeper that we've been using, Patrick Clements, is rubbish. We'll see if Sidibe's any better. I suspect he's probably not, but we should definitely give him a try. We've moved Hines out to left back for this game. He's a natural there as well. He wants to play libero. I don't want him to play libero. We might end up using him as an inverted something or other. for now, he's just going to play the wing-back role. And then we've got Daniel Bailey, who is one of the old men that we're trying... Not old men, rubbish players that we're trying to get rid of. Partnering Bogdan Huza at centre-back. And then Mamani at right-back, who normally plays centre-back. Razali is going to play at the base of the midfield. Kawasaki and Basinger ahead of him. And then Jimmo on the left, Caicedo on the right. And we're trying Thiago Henrique up front, who is a Brazilian striker, 24 years old, worth £50 million, 3.5 stars of current ability. And I think the closest we've got at the club to a Kev-style striker. He's only 6 foot tall. He's not mega fast, but he is stronger at the physicals than he is at anything else. And none of our other strikers seem any good. So we're trying this guy. I realise it is not necessarily the fullest strength of full strength teams that we could be using against Spurs, but I'd like to think Spurs are a team we should be able to beat, and we've got to get to know the squad. We've got to try some players. So we're trying this combination of players in this match, and if it doesn't work, we won't start panicking straight away. But like I say, we've got to get an idea of who's actually going to be any good. Caicedo, still, I was about to say positive things about him. He almost created the most absurd own goal in history, but luckily it's against Spurs, so they managed to bottle scoring it. But that was some chaos early on. Caicedo, I don't think, is a lone striker, so I think unless I decide to go for the two up top, Caicedo's going to have to play out wide. I'm hoping Henrique. Oh, it's actually Huza who scores. It doesn't matter who nods it in. The fact is, someone's nodded it in. Thiago Henrique was there. I think when I was looking at my 4 strikers and trying to decide which one I was going to use, I don't think I was even considering Henrique as one of them. I think he was the 5th guy who I just basically wrote off entirely. Maybe he'll end up being the guy. If we have to do it with set pieces, I don't care, by the way. We'll set piece our way to mid-table obscurity this season. It's fine. That's an interesting decision. And now the game is locked up. Well, that's not ideal at all. Right, let's try submitting the team again. We only lost 6 minutes. So I think we can leave it all in the video so you can see what we have to deal with here sometimes, especially if it happens again. Because if it happens a second time, at that point we do start worrying about the future of the series. We were 1-0 up, so the other reason I wanted to leave it in is because I don't know, we've not been playing super well. I am a little bit worried we won't take the lead this second time around, but I want you to know there is a universe where we played all right, had a couple of decent set pieces, and almost beat Spurs. 6 minutes in, we almost beat. We were going to score a second time when everything crashed. So, you know, I think it's safe to say that I earned my 3 points, even if the game is now turning on me and taking them away from me. We know, as a moral victory, I was going to win that game. There's players arguing amongst each other. I think we need to get rid of everybody in this squad. I don't think they like each other very much. And it's not going very well. We've not had a single shot. Get the ball forward. The set pieces were working in another universe. Can we maybe try the set pieces? Here we go. It's a corner. Jimmo to Caicedo. Caicedo again. And it is from a set piece. And it goes down as an own goal. I don't care how it goes down. In the other universe, Caicedo almost created an own goal against us. In this world, he forces one for us. I'm on board with it. And I like the fact that we are quite good at set pieces. I am troubled a little bit that Caicedo is the guy that we're aiming for from corners. He's 6 foot tall. I mean, I guess he's got 13 jumping reach, 17 heading. There's probably worse options to aim for, but it does really underline that I don't have much in the way of proper Kev players here yet. The fact that we're aiming at a tiny little 6 foot tall man. I mean, I'd need to tie a balloon to him if we went shopping together, so he didn't disappear going down the aisles because he's so little. I need full size footballers. Right, Thiago Henrique trying for the counter attack, and we've actually got a man over here. Henrique does all right. He draws the foul, and I guess set pieces are a strength of ours, so it doesn't hurt to draw a foul in that situation. I can't help but think there was the opportunity there to try and go the other way around that player and get himself through on goal, or maybe put it into the path of one of his teammates where we had the extra man. In the end, it's a little bit of a waste because whatever happened from the free kick, it wasn't enough to justify a highlight. But we'll definitely take 1-1 at half-time. Spurs have been the better team. They've certainly created more than we have. And we've also been in pretty rotten form. Spurs have returned to the Premier League and seem to be doing okay. They're up in the European qualification spots already. We've only had one shot on target, and I don't think it's the goal we scored. I think that was just being driven across goal by Caicedo and ended up in the back of the net. But nobody on our team is playing well. This is going to be, for me, a long season. For you, I think we are just going to get through this season relatively quickly, and probably no more than a couple of episodes, just so that we can get to know the players a little bit, get to know the ones who are going to be sticking around. And obviously, if we do end up in any kind of relegation threat, then we can, then we'll show you that. We've obviously got to show you that. But I just want to get to next season ASAP and get the rebuild properly underway. So that is my plan. There you go. Cihan or Cihan? Cihan? How do I say that in Turkish? My Turkish is slipping. I've not managed in Turkey for ages. We've still only had one shot on target in this match. And we've got some tiring football boys now. And we're still very light on midfielders in the squad in general. But have we got somebody who can maybe give us a winner? We're going to offer a little bit of encouragement for the final 10 minutes. It has been a poor game from two pretty rubbish teams. But I guess our goal for the season, draw the away games against the teams we're roughly equivalent to, win the home games against those same teams. Don't worry about what happens against top 6, top 8 sides, and we'll probably be okay. We're not aiming even for a top half finish. 13th, 14th, same as last year, would be absolutely fine, because we know we're going to push on and get better the season after, when we get rid of all of the nonsense players, all Johnny Jackson's mates that he's been keeping around forever. I tell you what, a winning goal here would go down very nicely. Amped is in, and Amped scores. Is he stayed on side? That would be his first goal for us. We tried to sell him back in the summer. There were no takers. He actually turned down a move. There was a taker. He turned down a move. It has been disallowed. He turned down his move so that he could be here to do that. That was him getting his own back on me. But this was a nice little counter attack, and it's very, very marginal. And I do feel a little bit hard done by there. I think that should be our winner. But I imagine Spurs will go and grab a winner now and make me very unhappy. No, 1-1. 1-1's fair. Right, I'm going to get a bunch more matches played and then come back for another one to show you. You know the drill. You know how these episodes work. Well, what a lovely little run of games against rubbish teams we've just been on. Yeah, we beat Man City 4-0. That was a little bit odd. But then we never played anyone else in the top half of the table after then. Drew against Leeds, won our last 4 in a row, which means we go into this game against Aston Villa, 8th in the league, with both us and Villa with games in hand, or a game in hand, over the teams above us. And a win for either of us would put us up into 4th place and a Champions League qualification spot. Don't expect to stay there, because obviously we've got the good teams to play. It has been a run against absolute dross, and I imagine we're going to come back down to earth here against Villa. But if we win, maybe we're not awful. We have lost Clements to injury as well, so what started as an experiment with Sidibe is now Sidibe is basically our goalkeeper, probably until we sign a new one. So it's Sidibe in goal, a back four of Medina, Hines, Mamani and Owusu. Cihan at the base of the midfield, Kawasaki and Basinger ahead of him. Jimmo and Caicedo behind Kasongo up front. Last 2 games, we've won 1-0, Jimmo scoring the goal. We've become a very, very boring team. So much for the exciting, attacking football, entertaining football that we're supposed to be playing. But you know what? I think we probably trade that in for, I'm not even going to say qualifying for Europe, because I still don't think we will, but getting points on the board now. And we are, of course, getting closer and closer to January transfer window, which will probably, I thought that was going in the top corner. The next episode will likely be the January transfer window, where hopefully we'll be able to shift some more of the dead wood and maybe bring in a transfer or 2, and then just get us through to the summer where the real rebuild begins. Caicedo, terrible attempt at a pass from him, looking for Kawasaki, can't find him. Cihan plays it out to Caicedo though, and he gives the ball away again. Maybe we just get rid of all the old men, he says, as Caicedo does some brilliant work. And then Kawasaki over the top to Kasongo, who rounds the keeper, tucks it into the back of the net. It's a lovely finish. Is he offside? I hope not, because that was a lot of good football from all involved. He was offside. I mean, both Caicedo and Kawasaki doing lovely work. We're going to blame Kasongo's run. It's marginal. I mean, he is off. I don't think Kawasaki could have rushed that pass through any quicker. I'm definitely going to blame Kasongo because he's the one of all the strikers. He's the one who gets to play as centre forward. The rest of them are sat on the bench or being moved out into different positions, like Kawasaki, like Caicedo. Kasongo should be on 15 goals by now because he's getting to play as the striker in this team, and he's not, because he's not my kind of striker. And if anyone wants to buy him, he is very much for sale. Any one of these. Kawasaki, I think, is worth like 80 million. Kasongo, probably 60 or 70. If we could just have one big sale, I know we've only got 25% retained transfer revenue, but one big sale clears the debt that we're in and probably allows us to renegotiate that retained transfer revenue, at which point we could then sell a couple more. I'm up for, as far as I'm concerned, there's nobody at this football club who I wouldn't sell if we got their asking price. Everyone is not on the transfer list, but available. We're listening to offers for everybody here. And if we could sell the entire squad for like 600 million, which is a big if, but I think if we got their actual transfer values for all of them, it'd probably be even more than that. I could build an incredible Champions League winning team with £600 million to spend. Just go and raid Colon, who, by the way, I mean, this isn't Colon relevant, it's Charlotte relevant and Stellenbosch relevant. Unlove, who's now 26, by the way, current transfer value £250 million. He's the top assist maker in Bundesliga for Bayer Leverkusen, and there's currently a Saudi Arabian club chasing him. So I hope he doesn't go to Saudi Arabia. But he turned out to be as good as we all thought he was going to be, even with that cruciate ligament injury when he was still a teenager. Kurt Villakazi, less so, not scored more than 5 goals in a season in his now 4 years at Nuremberg. It's a long time since I was at Charlotte. Kasongo, is he offside again? It's another tidy finish from him, but is it another example of him not quite having the football now? It's not. This time it actually works. He plays it back to Sian and then Basinger, and then it's that guy playing him, wasn't it? It's actually a perfectly timed run, and it's 1-1. And fingers crossed, we can now go on and capitalise that, because Villa have only had one shot on target. We're slowly but surely figuring out how to play this system that I've been forcing upon us, working out who my boys are. There are some that's lovely from Basinger, who we are using properly now, and he's actually playing quite well. There are players who were probably regular first team players before I arrived who are a little bit out in the cold. So be it. Like I say, we've got transfers to do. Jimmo has picked up an injury there. So Bazia, who I did expect to come in and be my starting left winger. But Jimmo, as captain, couldn't just drop him straight out of the team. And like I say, he's been scoring the winners in the recent matches. So he's struggled to break into the team as a regular starter. But if Jimmo is injured, if he's injured, this might be an opportunity for him to get a run of games and see if he's any good. Caicedo is in, it hits the post, and there is Sebastian Bayer, I think it probably is, to tuck it into the back of the net, 2-1, and Caicedo's involved again, and the whole front three there looking like a bunch of troublemaking rascals. And look at that beautiful league table that's just popped up in the bottom corner. As it stands right now, Wimbledon are in 4th place. We're charging on to the Champions League, boys and girls. I am inevitable. Look at me go. Pentagon, easy peasy. Basinger plays it all the way back to Sidibe, who plays it a little bit short for Hines, but he ends up coming away with the ball. And then there's another iffy pass. What's going on here, boys? A few troublesome passes here, but Sian now looking to play it forward. Kasongo back to goal, lays it off to Basinger, who shoots from range. What a goal. He's starting to look like he's actually a £20 million player now. Beautiful play back to goal from Kasongo. But that Basing has pulled all the strings today. And this is brilliant. Lovely, forward-facing play from Sian. But what a hit. Their goalkeeper, far too far off of his line. And we're good value for being 3-1 up. Caicedo's picked up a knock here. But fingers crossed, it's nothing too serious. I think we probably are going to take him off as a precaution because he's down to a little red heart. But we'll take our free kick first. It's going to be Kasongo. Can we make it 4? We don't deserve to make it 4, but I mean, we went for it. Right, we'll take off Caicedo. Enrique can come on for him. We don't want to risk any injuries there. He's become a very, very important player for us. But just like we've got an opportunity on the left for Bayer today, this is the opportunity for Enrique, who I think in the last match I showed you, we were trying as the striker. That hasn't really worked out for him. Maybe he's a right winger. Who knows? We're still learning the team. It's still relatively early days. And that took a big deflection and the goalkeeper did not even move for it. But we get away with it. And it remains 3-1. And we've still got 2 stoppages because half-time doesn't count as a stoppage. That's good. Right, Rossi is going to come on in midfield. And I think that will probably do for now. We'll save our final 2 substitutions for when people start to collapse with injuries and tiredness, which does seem to be a thing. With it being a slightly older squad than I'd normally play, a lot of players in their late 20s, early 30s, they are struggling with the gegenpressing, even though we're only playing a couple of matches a month because the Premier League in the future is lazy. If you're not in Europe, you really don't have to play a lot of football. We're in, what is it, middle of November now? And we've only played like 10 games. It's a bit of a contrast from Argentina, that's for sure. But Amft is now on. He is very much in the shop window. Fenerbahce are looking at him again. He's already turned them down once. But that is a shenanigans goal straight off of the training ground. Has it been given, though, or are we offside again? This looks like we're actually doing work between matches. And to be fair, there you go, it has been given. We have now got the best coaching setup in the Premier League, which does show just how much the AI neglects that kind of thing because we're so far in the future. There's no way that me bringing in 8 new coaches to Wimbledon, bearing in mind I only ever use the job vacancy button. I don't use the staff search, so I'm not deliberately getting all the ones with the best attributes. I'm just getting the best ones that apply for me. And we are Wimbledon. We have a level. But Liverpool, Man United, Newcastle, Man City, these big teams don't have the off-pitch setup that we have because the AI doesn't look after it properly. And it doesn't ruin the longer term saves, but you do start to see some of the holes a little bit the further into the future you get. I mean, it shouldn't have been that easy to do that. I mean, the fact Chelsea have got the worst goalkeeping coaching in the league, or just the worst everything in the league, insane. They're Chelsea. They've got money to throw around. Brentford with the worst recruitment is ironic. Derby, yeah. I mean, this shouldn't happen, but then at the same time, squad building also shouldn't look like this. So there's lots to criticise the AI for. I feel another video incoming, boys and girls, but for now, we're going to be positive and we're going to enjoy the fact that we're only 5 points off the top of the league. Wimbledon are going to win the league, boys and girls. There's nothing any of you can do to stop me. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much to all these beautiful Patreon folk. And thank you very much for watching.